Imagine standing under a tree when suddenly an apple falls on your head. That's the famous story we all know about Sir Isaac Newton and the discovery of gravity. But did you know that the concept of gravity wasn't truly invented by one person? It was a discovery shaped by many civilizations over thousands of years. We've all heard the famous story. Isaac Newton, sitting under an apple tree, sees an apple fall, and boom, he discovers gravity. But what if I told you gravity wasn't Newton's idea at all? Yes, Newton mathematically proved gravity, but the concept of gravitational attraction existed long before him. From ancient India, Greece, Persia, and Italy, civilizations had already theorized gravity in their own ways. So, who really discovered gravity? And what does Hindu mythology, a Persian scientist, and a man who dropped things from a tower have to do with it? Let's uncover the real story of gravity. Long before Newton, there was Acharya Kanada, an Indian philosopher who lived between the 2nd and 6th century BCE. While walking, he noticed small particles falling to the ground and asked, "Why do things always fall down and not up?" He proposed the idea of gurutva, meaning heaviness or gravity, suggesting that unseen forces pull objects downward. Kanada was also the first to describe atoms or anu and their interactions, making him one of the earliest scientific thinkers. But Kanada wasn't alone. In the 5th century CE, the Indian mathematician Aryabhata went further, explaining that 1. The Earth rotates on its own axis, contrary to the belief that it was stationary. 2. Objects stay on Earth because of an unseen force, a direct hint at gravity. His writings were 1,000 years ahead of their time, and yet the world forgot. Meanwhile, in Greece, Aristotle, who lived between 384 and 322 BCE, had a different idea. He believed that heavy objects fall faster than light ones. Objects naturally move to their rightful place. Sounds logical, right? But it was wrong, and it remained unchallenged for nearly 2,000 years. In 11th century Persia, the great scientist Al-Biruni, who lived from 973 to 1048 CE, accurately measured the Earth's radius and speculated about a force pulling objects downward, another early understanding of gravity. Then came Galileo Galilei, born in 1564 in Italy, who did something unthinkable. He proved Aristotle wrong. Legend says he climbed the Leaning Tower of Pisa, dropped 2 balls of different weights, and proved they hit the ground at the same time. This shattered the old belief that heavier objects fall faster. With this, Galileo set the stage for the biggest breakthrough in gravity's history. Fast forward to 1665. The Black Plague had forced a young Isaac Newton into isolation. He sat under an apple tree and saw an apple fall. But what really happened? Did the apple hit his head? Not exactly. Newton asked, "Why do apples always fall straight down? What keeps the moon from flying away?" This led to his law of universal gravitation in 1687. Every object in the universe attracts every other object. The bigger the object, the stronger its pull. Gravity keeps planets in orbit, just like the apple and the moon follow the same rule. But Newton never claimed to invent gravity. He famously said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Those giants? Acharya Kanada, Aryabhata, Al-Biruni, and Galileo. Newton's gravity worked until Einstein came along. In 1915, Albert Einstein introduced his general theory of relativity, which said, "Gravity isn't just a force, it's a curvature in space-time. Massive objects like the sun bend space, and smaller objects like Earth follow that curve." Einstein's theory explained black holes, gravitational waves, and how light bends in space, something Newton's laws couldn't. Now comes the connection of gravity in mythologies. Ancient cultures often described gravity in mythical ways. In Hindu mythology, Lord Vishnu maintains the cosmic balance, ensuring planets stay in motion, eerily similar to Einstein's idea of curved space-time. In Greek mythology, Atlas was punished to hold up the heavens, symbolizing an invisible force governing celestial bodies. Could ancient myths have hinted at gravitational concepts long before science did? So did Newton invent gravity? No, he proved it mathematically, but the idea existed long before him. From Acharya Kanada's atomic gravity in India to Aryabhata's planetary motion, from Al-Biruni's Earth calculations in Persia to Galileo's falling objects in Italy, Newton simply pieced the puzzle together. And to think, it all started with an apple. So next time you drop something, remember, you're not just watching it fall, You're witnessing one of the oldest mysteries of the universe. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing science stories.